Good morning and welcome to Oweleketv on this beautiful day. It is time for Outnumbered. We are reaching you live and direct from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, Antonia Nwokolo and Michael Ekenedilichuku are also here with me to bring you the headlines for the day. Good morning.
Good morning, Ramsey. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Tonia.
Good morning, Michael and Antonia.
Good morning. Your haircut is still looking good.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I think this season we need to look good, as always anyway. From the Daily Sun newspaper this morning, Nigeria under me, better than today's. Okay. Who is saying this? You should know who is saying this already. Obasanjo is the one saying that. Remember, he was the president of Nigeria 2 times. Nigeria under me better than today's. That is, today's Nigeria is not to be compared to his time. Obasanjo is the one saying that, and details read on page 29. The big story says, NCDC panics over cholera spread. Cholera is spreading so much in the country right now. 2 riders to that story. Alert state government on safety measures. I take that again. Alerts state governments on safety measures. What to be done. Then the second rider says Lagos issues health advisory to parents and schools. All right, so you can get the details on page 6 and beginning. From the first paragraph to the end, you will get to know what is happening as far as cholera is concerned. Then more still coming from the Sun newspaper this morning. Fubara inaugurates CTC, directs audit of 23 local governments. What is CTC? Caretaker Committee. We talked about that some times ago when state governors come up with caretaker committee. They are going to be taking care of the office until probably the real chairman comes in. All right. But then the disadvantage of this is that anyone being put as a caretaker committee member, that person is somehow going to be answerable directly to the governor. Congress is that's the kicker. PDP extends deadline for sale of farms. And finally, alleged terrorism. That's the kicker. Nnamdi Kanu 6 out of court settlement. Wow. Okay. One writer to that story as court orders open space meeting with lawyers. And that's going to be the size of the headlines from the Sun newspaper, Daily Sun newspaper this morning. All right. Let's get to the next paper.
Thank you, Ramsey. Over to Vanguard today. Above the header, customs to establish stable FS rate of import. Details on page 19. Naira depreciation makes Lagos, Abuja cheapest global cities for export trades. Details on page 9. Cholera outbreak. Federal government may declare emergency, says NCDC at DG. One writer to that story, as some parents prevent children from school. Details on page 10. Edo Guba, PDP expels Shuaibu Obi, cites anti-party activities. Details on page 7. Now, the big story on the Vanguard today. Minimum wage, why governors' orders are foot dragging. You can get that details on page 5. But then we have about 6 or 7 writers to that story, but I'll take just 3. Retrenched workers need bailout to pay. Idris detaches self from unwilling governors, awaits Labour federal government stand. No agreement but alignment of interest, says OPS. Now, away from that, Rivers crisis, Fubara orders probe of local government account. Details on page 12. Obaseki gives Edo Commissioner of Police, that's Governor of Edo State, gives Edo Commissioner of Police 7 days to fish out killers of Uniben graduates. That's a sad note. Details on page 6. Make well to pick today's paper, Vanguard, and enjoy it, and make sure you pick one paper. Thank you. Over to you, Antonia.
Thank you, Michael. Let's take a look at the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Customs records 4.4 trillion naira revenue in 1 year. That's on page 19. Kudos to Nigerian Customs. Alleged terrorism. Nnamdi Kanu 6 negotiation with federal government. Details of that is on page 7. Away from that, let's go to the big story on the Daily Trust this morning. Kanu Emirates tussle. That's the kicker of the story. Sanusi Bayero, no fate today. Then we have 2 riders underneath that. Police deploy around courts, strategic locations. NNPP, APC exchange fresh tackles. You can find the details of the story on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving away from that, bandits kill man who took 16 million naira ransom and 3 bikes to them in Kaduna. That's on page 17. This is really sad. After paying the ransom and also taking bike. So, over to you, Ramsey.
Well, that is the country we find ourselves. It is so bad. This is wickedness. I don't know. You collected ransom and you still kill the person who brought
Not
the
just
ransom.
60 million naira.
16 million naira
and 3 bikes.
3 bikes.
As
bikes.
ransom. And then you kill the person.
I don't know.
That's the height of it.
See, if these people can communicate, if they can use, see, Nigeria is so advanced. We are ICT inclined. We are technologically inclined that we can fish out these people if we want to, because they are communicating.
Yes,
they can be
they
tracked.
Have NIN.
They have NIN. They can be tracked. If they can call you to tell you how much they want, come to this location.
Then they should be, why can't we track them? Why can't they be tracked?
Even the person that took the ransom to them can be tracked. By just going there.
That's it.
They can put tracks on the bike,
these people
on his
can,
body.
yes.
They can be fished out.
You know, these things, we need wisdom and we need sincerity to fish out these unscrupulous elements who have come out to perpetrate nothing but evil. Well, let's just, we just have to react this way because, this thing is too bad. It's happening every day. Every day you keep hearing different things.
So it's not enough that someone is kidnapped. Now you're going to pay the
ransom because you want the person kidnapped to be released. Then they kill they kill the person. That's bad. All right. Finally, the Daily Times newspaper, how physical verification exercise exposed ghost workers. Yemi Eson is the one saying that on page 2. Reps hail Nigeria Armed Forces for successes against insecurity. Details read on page 5. Reps hail Nigeria Armed Forces for successes against insecurity. Alleged cocaine deal. Court denies Abba orders bail. Details read on page 5. Then this one says that Shetima reaffirmed federal government's commitment to Northeast economic revival. And of course, the big story is still all about Fubara. And it says that Fubara swells in CTC chairman amidst political confusion in Rivers. Details read on page 2. 3 writers to that story says River won't set pace in unconstitutionality on provisions on local government tenure. Says Rivers won't set pace in unconstitutionality on provisions on local government tenure. Direct audit of council's account. That's the second rider, and the last rider says declare state of emergency in Rivers fast. APC urges the federal government. And finally, right here, this one says Nnamdi Kanu seeks out of court settlement in alleged terrorism charge. Just one rider to that story as court orders open space meetings with his lawyer. This is going to be the size of the newspaper review this morning. If any of these papers interest you, you can just walk to the vendor, get to the newspaper stand and pick anyone so that you can peruse through it. We will go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we need to talk about this lingering minimum wage and why state governors are saying, well, we may not be able to pay and it is contributing to the delay while an agreement have not been reached. We will return after this break.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. Well, I know a lot of people were waiting to hear what we really want to talk about. What are we talking about this morning? We want to talk about the minimum wage. It is one thing that this minimum wage will be paid, whether the federal government, the governors, and whoever want it or not, it is something that must be done because a laborer is worthy of his wages. If economic situation is not friendly, I wonder why minimum wage should be at the stage it has been. But now I think they are clamoring for something better. And of course, from one of the papers this morning, it's been said that the reason why governors and other people are foot dragging, all right, the reason is being told today. And we want to look at these reasons. What we're really looking at this morning is the reasons being advanced by governors. I don't know who the others are who are foot dragging and which has contributed to the reason why an agreement has not been reached so far. Well, as it is right now, they are saying they can't pay more than 60 or 62,000 naira. You understand? But then let's look at it critically. Why are they saying so? From one of the kickers, they said they may retrench workers and they may be needing a bailout. Come, let me say something. I don't want to say this. The governor of Benue State, talking about Hyacinth earlier, is buying SUV for lawmakers for 60 million naira. That's for one car. Then you get to other states, they are buying for 66 million naira. That is SUV for lawmakers. I don't know the kind of meeting these governors had before they started doing this. Maybe someone may be tempted to say, is it that they are trying to cover something or trying to shut these guys up so that as they run the administration, the legislature wouldn't come into it? As a matter of fact, how many people were retrenched? All right. This is the question. How many people were retrenched? How much bailout fund did they collected from wherever before they were able to buy SUV worth millions for lawmakers? And that they are saying they can't pay the minimum wage. We're not saying they must pay it. We are not saying so. But then they must pay it. That's it. I'm not contradicting you. I'm not contradicting myself. We are not saying they must pay it, but they must pay it. That's what it is. All right. They have to pay because except if you want to do the job alone, if you want to work, and because
it's not possible.
Workers are supposed to be paid.
You cannot be in all communities in your state at the same time. It's not possible.
So,
it's not possible.
Do you see this being reason enough for them not to pay?
Some of the governors are also complaining of lack of funds that after subsidy removal in May last year, there was a 20% or 25% increase from the federal allocation they get. Other than that, the state gets revenue from VAT, EMTL, exchange, other exchange, electronic money transfers, and all of that. That is how they get their funding. And they from what the governors are saying is that some states got about 20 or 25% increments, while others did not get that increment.
So what were the criteria put in place for those who got?
That is what is not not spelled out. That is what we're not giving details about. And that's why some of these states that got less are dragging their foot and saying we can't afford it. We can't because our money it has not gotten to that. Some states are receiving this while we are not receiving it. But that still does not make make any sense. This minimum wage has been lingering for too long. And now saying, lack of fund. And funny enough, these governors were not active in the negotiation table. It was basically between the tripartite committee, the Labour and the federal government coming out to say, we will do this, we will not take this, we will pay this, we will not take this.
Governors are just behind somewhere, just saying their own thing.
So they were not even actively in this conversation. So how would all of this now? How would we reach an agreement?
It's a problem. It's a problem because we have about 4 states that got less allocation. I know about Akwa Ibom State, Delta Bayelsa, River State, and sometimes
okay, they are just from the south.
Yeah.
now that we look at it, they're basically from the south.
And you wonder why it's from some of the oil producing states that got less. Lagos State got high allocation.
But Lagos State can generate a lot of revenue.
Yes, Lagos is...
Okay, that's why they always...
Lagos and Port Harcourt generate a lot of revenue.
And the governor of Kebbi State came out outspokenly. Nasir Idris, kudos to him. He said, "I'm distancing myself from this governor, so I'm dragging their feet because I know it can be done."
It can be done.
The senator of SDP Nasarawa, very close to FCT, says, "Hey, Tinubu, pay 150 because you know this thing is doable."
It's doable.
So you see, my 100 and above is actually
It's sacrifice. It's just sacrifice. The governor should be ready to sacrifice.
If they can sacrifice 66 million or 60 million on SUV
to get
for
an
lawmakers,
SUV,
then they can.
That's not other allowances that they are collecting.
That says lawmakers should make sacrifices. So when we're talking about sacrifices now, the same Senator Wadada in National is telling lawmakers, let's make sacrifices. 150 can be paid as minimum.
It's doable.
Yes,
These other states that are saying we've been getting less allocations and we want to continue paying 62. In fact, they're even saying that the 62 is too much for them. And when you look at the federal government allocation for them over the years, the question you ask yourself is, what have they been doing from these federal government allocations? 120 trillion.
Can I tell you something? It will amaze you that some governors even collected the bailout fund and still embezzled it. They still ate it.
Man, that's why
we're smiling talking about this thing, but the truth of the matter is
it is very serious.
No, it's overdue. It's overdue. That is just it.
It's very painful.
Overdue. They should do this thing once and for all. Let's just get over it.
Wants to do 2 terms, get a lot. That's why this other governor of Kogi State is still on the run. But EFCC is telling him, after you run, you'll come back.
You can run, but you cannot.
Yeah, Bello, right?
So I see most governors, they take a lot, embezzle, siphon.
So
by
much.
the time they are done with the government, you know how far.
But what kind of hats do they have? What kind of hats do they have?
Remember, there was a governor that went out and he just said, EFCC, I'm here. Was that Ayo Fayose? He's trying to send to EFCC.
Yeah. There
was so much that he took. EFCC got about 80%. The other one is, oh, guy, enjoy. Okay. So things are happening in this country with impunity. These things can be done.
The truth is, we are not saying don't enjoy yourself, don't eat. At least it took you 1 or 2 to get there. Yeah, you're being paid salaries, allowances, and every other thing that you are enjoying. Don't overpack this thing to the detriment of the people you are leading.
So
that's what we are saying.
That's what we're saying.
If these people don't work, the state cannot stand.
Absolutely.
So the workers need to be made happy. People don't even know the secrets. See, all these things. If you pay people well, they have a good mind. They are coming to the office. They work well. It motivates them. It's a motivating factor. Yes. So don't embezzle what you are supposed to pay the people.
Even if you don't pay them and maybe they have passion for whatever thing they are doing, when they come, they won't put in their best.
They won't put in their best because
that's why you see the lackadaisical attitude of some public service workers. When you go to their offices,
when you complain of,
they're like, maybe you're asking of a file. You go wait till God never come, and it's just right in their cupboard.
It's there.
If you want to trace how insecurity came and infiltrated almost all space in our offices, some of these workers are informants to these people.
So
Moga has 100 million.
Because someone is
kidnapping, he's going to benefit.
Oga is stingy. Oga is stingy, and somebody is trying.
But this is not to encourage.
No. Don't embezzle funds and don't expose your superiors. Don't expose your superiors.
It's not to encourage it at all.
So the superiors should make sure they pay the subordinates.
No, if you are, if like the governors, you are in that kind of position, do what is necessary for you to do.
Governor well.
Yes, let's sing African China.
We'll
ask the editors to add it to this clip. So that will be the closing, the outro for our,
the outro. Please add it. Add this one. Editors, please add this one. And of course, our viewers, go and listen to that song. And if you are a governor well. If you are a senator well. Whatever you are, do well. Well, this is going to be the size of the newspaper review, and of course the big story for this morning. We want to talk about this. We can't finish talking about it today. What we want to say in essence is this: if you are a governor and you were able to get SUVs for lawmakers, then it shouldn't cost you anything paying this minimum wage. All right. Then for some other states that cannot really afford it, that their allocations are not so big, talk with the federal government. It's just like a father and son thing. Okay. There's a way you can play around it so that these people can contribute their best to the development and the economic growth of the various states. So I even want the governors to be up and doing, especially states that are not doing very well economically right now. Thank you very much. We'll come on your way again, and that's going to be the TGIF edition tomorrow. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Bye-bye for now.